Hi, I wanted to make this video because I've been thinking, and this time I've been thinking about investing in memories. So the reason I've been thinking about investing in memories is because I read an interesting tip recently and it really hit a nerve with me. So it was a tip that I came across while I've been researching about how to plan for a fantastic retirement. And it talked about how important it is to invest in experiences so that you'll have the memories that you'll be able to reflect on and enjoy in the future. So the overriding message in that tip was about making sure that you don't put off having important experiences in your life until it's too late for you to enjoy them or even do them at all. That I thought, was a great tip and one that I have been thinking about quite a lot. But the other part of the tip was to make sure that you're getting the full value out of the memories from those experiences. And that's the bit that really hit a nerve with me. And the reason it hit a nerve with me is because it's been bothering me for a while that I'm maybe not doing a good job of capturing the special moments in my life, like trips away and other big experiences. So the memories soon start to fade to the point where I can't even remember much about what has happened. So I'm not so worried about the importance of having the experiences because I know that I've always made that quite a high priority anyway. But I've definitely been questioning recently about whether all of those experiences were really worth it in the end, if I can't remember much about them. And so hearing about the importance these memories are likely to have for my future happiness has really made me think about whether there's anything I can do to start getting more value out of those memories than I'm currently getting. So I know I've had lots of fun experiences in my life, but in recent years I've noticed that the memories are starting to feel a bit distant and a bit jumbled. So it's been making me wonder if there's as much point spending money on those things as you get older, if the memories are just going to disappear afterwards. So I don't want that to be the case, but I also want to be realistic if I'm just wasting my money and maybe would be better just watching someone else's adventure on the TV instead and saving my money. So it's a subject that had already been troubling me, and when I read that tip I realised that I need to try and do something about it, because both having the adventures and also being able to tap into and enjoy the memories is likely to be more important for the future than I realised. But is it even possible to keep the memories vivid as you get older? So maybe it's understandable that things are starting to feel a bit more fuzzy, given that I'm in my 50s now, and having 5 decades of memories is a lot to manage. And when I try to think back to my 20s and my 30s, it's quite a long time ago now. There are some things that stand out, but there's also a lot that I can't seem to find. I know I went on lots of trips and had lots of fun, but I can't seem to remember much of the detail now. So I'm not sure if that's normal or not, but I don't like it. So I want to do something that might be able to stop it from happening in the future. So I don't have much from that time to jog my memory, so maybe that's a big part of the problem. So to give you an example, I was talking to a friend recently and she made reference to a trip that we'd been on together when we were younger. And I couldn't remember anything about it at all. Even when she talked about it a bit more, I still didn't remember going. So before I had that conversation, I wasn't worried about forgetting the trip because I didn't know that I had. And I do trust that my friend was telling the truth and we did go on that trip. But because I don't have any photos to jog my memory, I think it really has been lost to me. So, does that mean that there was no value in that trip for me? I hope not, but when I can't remember anything about it, it's hard to see what the value could be now. So having that thought made me wonder if there's much point spending money to take more trips in the future if I won't be able to remember them afterwards. So maybe that's taking too much of an extreme point of view, because I haven't forgotten all of the trips that I've ever been on, but it showed me that I'm definitely capable of forgetting them if I don't do something to help me remember. So I don't seem to have any photos from back then, and maybe that's where my friend had the advantage. Maybe she kept some photos and looks at them sometimes. And I'm sure that that would make a difference, but I can't seem to find any. So if I start to dwell on all the potentially forgotten memories, it makes me feel a bit sad. But as always, I want to learn something from that and start doing things differently so that I can avoid having the same thing happen again in the future. So I'm sure there's plenty I'll be able to do to help keep my memories more vivid and therefore help me get more value out of the experiences I have in life, with just a bit of effort and maybe a few changes. So, in terms of my current situation, I do take photos and sometimes videos these days, but I don't have any structure about what I take photos and videos of, and also what I do with them afterwards. So they just seem to build up into a big, overwhelming mass of things that rarely gets looked at. I also generally write some sort of diary or journal when I'm on a trip away, but I only started doing that since I had my children, and I haven't tended to go back and read them again afterwards. Not yet, anyway. So I think maybe I've got some of the ingredients already to start pulling together something more structured from my trips. But what kind of structure would that be? So I think really what I want is to find a way to capture important things in a way that's easy to relive those special moments and enjoy them in the future, and maybe share them with family and friends. So it sounds simple enough, so why aren't I doing it already? I think maybe one of the reasons is because I don't plan in advance what I want to do with any of the photos and videos that I take. So there's no real structure to what I capture. And I often end up with so many that I don't even know where to start. Which should I keep? Which should I delete? I can't even decide. So I just keep all of them, which is then too overwhelming to do anything with. So maybe that's my first lesson. Don't take so many or don't keep so many. And if having a lot is stopping me from using any at all. So sometimes I haven't even created a photo album from a trip because I can't choose which photos to include and which to leave out. But the result of that is not looking at any of the photos. So really, I've got nothing to lose by being a bit more decisive, because that should at least mean that I'll be looking at some rather than none of the photos. So I think what I would like to achieve is some photo and video montages with snippets of text from the diaries to help bring the photos to life with stories. And I feel like I ought to be able to achieve that, especially now that I'm a YouTuber, because the skills that I'd learned from putting the montages together would probably also be useful for my YouTube videos. I just need to get started with the learning. So to make it easier, I could start with something small, like pulling together some memories from a day trip to London that I had last year. I did write a diary from the day when I was on the train home, and I also took some photos and I think maybe a couple of videos. So hopefully it will be easy enough to pull that together into a montage. I just need to give it a try. So sometimes when I'm struggling to get started with something, I tell myself to just give it an hour and see what I can get done. So I think I'll try that technique. I do often end up doing more than an hour, but I've actually heard that that's a bad thing because you then can't trust yourself in the future when you try to use the just give it an hour thing to get started. So I really will just give it an hour, and that might help me to see how much time it might really need. And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. And I am quite motivated because it's definitely something that's been bothering me for a while. So having this extra incentive of knowing that being able to relive and enjoy your memories from the experiences you've already invested in having during your life can really help to enrich your life in retirement. And that's definitely given me an extra boost. And I'm actually really excited about revisiting some of my previous trips and experiences and bringing them back to life to get the value from them all over again. So I just hope that I don't find it too difficult to achieve what I'm after and that I can find the time to do it. Maybe I'll need to retire first to be able to get it done. And if anyone has any tips for me about how you capture and relive some of the special moments from your lives, I would love to hear them. But for now, I will leave it there and I will go and give it an hour and get on with making a start on seeing if I can create a montage of my day trip to London last year. And I'll see what I can learn from it and start bringing some of my other trips back to life and enjoying the memories of those experiences that I invested in. So I hope you've taken something useful from this video, but I think that's all for this time. So thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time. Bye.